Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a new survey shows that Arizonans are driving fewer miles in recent years. We'll take a look at issues from Point South in our monthly series Southern Exposure, and we'll see how harp music is helping the healing process. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. A new survey shows that Arizonans are driving less and taking other forms of transportation more often. The study was released by Arizona Public Interest Research Group and St. Luke's Health Initiatives. John Ford is Communications Director for St. Luke's Health Initiatives. Joins us now. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
What exactly did the study look at?
You know, what it looked at was what people were doing in terms of how they're getting around. We had seen a national study that said that there was a decline in miles traveled by car, and we said to ourselves, geez, you know, a lot of people are going to think to themselves, well, Arizona's different. So we said, well, let's check it out. Let's take a look. And what we found is it's not. Over a 7-year period from 2005 to 2012, we're looking at a 10.5% decline in vehicle miles traveled, while at the same time, you've got nearly a 30% increase in public transit miles traveled.
Interesting, and the conclusion seemed to be something along the lines of the driving boom is over. Was there still a driving boom as late as 2005 and 2006?
There was still an increase in vehicle miles traveled as late as 2005, that's correct.
And it's over, you think, huh?
Well, you know, no trend is linear.
Yes.
Things go up and they go down, but the trend line, as it were, is pointing downward, yes.
11% decline in annual vehicle miles per capita, fewer miles driven today than 7 years. What's going on out there?
Well, you know, there's a combination of things. For one, we've got a very large generation moving in. It's called the millennials, and they're choosing a different lifestyle. They really don't want to be in their cars, is basically what they're saying. If I may use a term that we've heard before, they're voting with their feet.
Yes.
They are jumping on bicycles, they are walking, they are preferring mass transit. The survey also mentions that over half of millennials choose their place of living based on whether or not there's high quality public transit, and 66%, 2/3 of millennials are saying that their reasons for leaving a given city are because there is a lack of high quality public transit.
Now that's the thought process as millennials hit that age, you know, where they become adults and such. Do we know if that's going to change as they get older, start families, maybe move to the suburbs a little further out? What do we know about that?
My crystal ball can't tell you for sure, but it seems as though maybe it's shaped a little bit by the recession as well, but those are things that are lifetime and reinforcing. So when something happens as a young adult, it tends to stay with you. You choose a lifestyle. I was talking with somebody about this report the other day and mentioned that millennials actually have really cool bikes that they ride around. Just like we used to take great pride in our cars, millennials are taking great pride in the distinctiveness of their bicycles. So there's a different movement going on here.
And indeed, but you know, the idea that the same group is going to dominate, you know, future transportation trends, that can't be ignored.
Can't be ignored. And you've got another huge generation all the way on the other end of the spectrum. Our senior population is aging in place. And those who are aging in place need transportation options other than a car because, quite frankly, they're not able to use a car. And so they are becoming large users of public transit as well.
How much of this could possibly be a reflection of the recession?
Probably not much at all.
Interesting.
Given that the trend started in 2005, well before the recession kicked in, and as we're coming out into the recovery of the recession, we're not seeing any difference. In fact, the numbers are still going down a little bit.
So as far as commuting, people, maybe not as many people employed. Those who are employed might have part-time jobs, not the kind of things where you commute. You don't think that the study doesn't suggest, I should say, that that's not too much of a factor?
Well, there are other factors. There are absolutely other factors. There is the factor of technology. Technology is changing how people approach moving from place to place and whether they do it or not.
Yeah.
People are working from home now more than they used to. So there are less miles being traveled to and from work as well. So there are a multitude of factors here, but there's definitely some leading factors that say that this is something that's going to continue.
Okay, so with this in mind, you got the numbers now, you got the study in hand. How does it factor into future transportation policy?
Well, this is the big question. A lot of people who have seen this report say that they're thankful for it because there are debates going on right now about where money should be spent. Should we be building more highways? Should we be building more roads? Or should we perhaps take, you know, even a small percentage of those budgets that have been previously put into highways and do things like improving quality in terms of public transit, do things in terms of making complete streets that welcome users of all types? Those are the big questions that need to be asked and answered.
So
this report would say that they should be answered in the idea of moving more towards public transit.
So infrastructure, fixing what you got, improving what you got, as opposed to building what's new, that seems to make sense by way of this report?
By way of this report, yes, there are people in the country right now who are saying cities are our new suburbs. In other words, people are choosing to live and work in the cities, and so they need to be made more livable. And the way to do that is through high-quality public transit, by a more walkable, livable community, and those things are funded by taking care of those streets that connect people. We're not moving cars, we're connecting people with streets.
And you talked about kids and their bicycles, old folks and our bicycles as well. Everyone seems to be riding a bike, they seem to be taking public transit, these sorts of things. That has to factor into transportation policy as well. It just increasing the options and making those options better.
And to be clear, nobody's saying cars are going away.
Right.
What we're saying is that we've built a city in a lot of urban areas, especially in Arizona, that are focused on moving cars quickly. Now it's time to take a look at a more balanced approach.
As far as doing these surveys, how often have these been done? How often are they going to be done again to see if these driving trends are sticking?
Good question. I think because of what we've seen so far and because there will be some more policy discussions, I could see these surveys being done more often. Arizona PIRG is dedicated to kind of keeping their research current, so I would suggest that we probably see them on a recurring basis, maybe every couple, 3 years.
I noticed one thing in your report, you also mentioned that smartphones could be used for ride sharing, bike sharing, car sharing, fill-in-the-blank sharing. Brave new world out there, huh?
This is where technology comes in. You know, a lot of us growing up thought, boy, it sucks to have to wait for the bus, right? Well, now they don't. They look at their app and it says the bus is going to be there at 5:38, so they stay in their house until it's time to walk out to the bus.
What kind of reaction have you had from this so far? Are people saying, yeah, I thought so? Are they surprised by this? What are you hearing?
You know, for those with whom SLHI has done a lot of work, we're all saying, I knew it, I knew it.
Yeah.
I think that there are a number of people who are going to read this report for the first time who haven't been engaged in these discussions who might be surprised.
And as far as Arizona is concerned, it's different it's tough on a day like today to be sitting out there waiting for anything, whether it's a bus, whether it's a light rail. Pedaling your bike's a bit of a chore on a day like today. How does that factor into all this?
You know, I would say that I would challenge that just slightly. I know that I have been on city blocks here in downtown Phoenix at high noon, and I've seen dozens of cyclists go by. It surprised me too. But when you build an infrastructure, when you create an environment that it becomes more amenable to these types of things and people want to do them, they will do them.
All right, and what is Arizona PIRG? Talk about St. Luke's and PIRG and how you guys got together, what this is all about.
Sure, so Arizona PIRG is very interested in increasing the right options for people to have a more livable community. They've been very interested in transportation issues. As far as St. Luke's Health Initiative is concerned, we are a health foundation. And what we know is that particularly active transportation has a huge impact on health. Charlotte, North Carolina did a light rail study before and after the opening of their light rail. In an 18-month period, people who rode light rail lost an average of 6.45 pounds in just 18 months.
And they were just riding the rail?
They're just not in their cars anymore. They're just not sitting still anymore. They're walking to the rail, they're riding the rail, they're walking to work.
Last question. I'm a lawmaker. What do you want me to take from that study?
I would like to see lawmakers have a discussion about what we do with the money that we have to build transportation infrastructure and talk about how to create a little bit more balance towards active transportation.
Very good. John, great information. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you.
It's time for this month's edition of Southern Exposure, our look at issues from the south side of the state. And here to help us navigate what's happening in Tucson and other areas to the south is Jim Ninsel, senior writer for the Tucson Weekly. Good to see you again. How you been?
It's been great. A little warmer here than Tucson.
Yeah, I'll bet. We just talked about transportation options and a new study showing that people are driving less, taking mass transit more. They're going to really be taking mass transit more down in Tucson. You got a new rail car coming in, huh?
This is Streetcar Week down in Tucson. We're very excited. The modern streetcar linking the university and downtown is opening up on Friday for riders. This has been a long process, long construction process. I'm sure you in Phoenix are familiar with the trials and tribulations that come from the construction of one of these things. It's been about $200 million sunk into getting the tracks and the cars and everything set up, and it's set to start running on Friday morning. So
yeah,
a lot of excitement.
And we're looking right now at the cars, and it has a similar kind of look to what we have here. How many miles are we talking here?
It's about a 4-mile run, goes from the University of Arizona Medical Center all the way down to past downtown to the west side of the interstate, where we've got some empty land that they're hoping to get developed as a result of having a streetcar running down there.
And we're seeing a map right here. It looks like it's, again, you got all the way from the west, looks like it kind of goes a little bit, jogs a little bit north and a little bit east, huh?
Right through the heart of downtown. You know, it's running right down Congress Street and Broadway past all the new restaurants. It's really generated a lot of activity in the downtown area. You know, we've got new student housing complexes going up there with the anticipation that kids will ride this back and forth to campus, and a lot of new restaurants and other developments going on down there. So I think from an economic development standpoint, the money has already been very successful in generating other projects, but there is concern that the operations cost of the streetcar will eat into the city's general fund and its transit budget. We already subsidize the buses down there to a very large degree. So some concern down among some members of the city council that this is going to be tough to find the financing for over time, but also a lot of hope that it will actually prove to be a success in transporting people back and forth.
Are there spots along light rail where development can happen? I mean, are there dead spots? Are there open areas? Or is it just a question of improving what already exists?
Improving what already exists along most of it, but on the west end of it, once you get over past the convention center in downtown Tucson, it goes underneath the interstate, over a brand new bridge, and then into an area that's very undeveloped, the original what was called Rio Nuevo area at the base, basically at the base of a mountain over there. If you're familiar with the downtown Tucson area, it's west of that area, and it's very much open for development.
And you mentioned some concern. How much of a fight was there against this project?
There wasn't that much of a fight against it because it was originally included as part of a larger transportation project, a sales tax that mostly funded roads but set aside, I think, about $75 million for this project. And then the city was lucky enough to land a big grant during the stimulus that provided most of the rest of the funding for it, a big boon that came to the city that I think was unexpected by a lot of people, and that's where most of the money came from. There have been certainly skeptics who have said that this is not a very good idea.
Yeah, we've had those along the light rail here, even though we've seen a lot of development in certain areas. Some folks say it's still not worth it. I'm sure that fight and that conversation will continue in Tucson as well.
For some time.
Yeah, you mentioned new restaurant, Chris Bianco of Bianca Pizzeria Bianco, opening a new spot right there in downtown Tucson, huh?
Yeah, he's scheduled to open this week, and he's going to be right on the streetcar route, and that's another thing that is of great excitement to those of us in Tucson. You have enjoyed his pizza here in Phoenix for a long time. I know that many communities have tried to persuade him to open a new pizza place, and this is the second, I guess, Bianco Pizza that he's opened. He's opened some other restaurants and partnerships with people around the world, actually, but this is Tucson's his second pizza shop, and I'm certainly excited to go down there and see if I can't get a slice of that this weekend.
Yeah, at the Tucson restaurant scene, how's it shaping up?
It's really booming, especially in the downtown area. We've had some big Flagstaff eateries come down, Diablo Burger, and a place called Proper Tucson, and they're opening up a butcher shop next door to their restaurant. This is all farm-to-table stuff, very similar to the kind of ethos that I think Chris Bianco uses in preparing his pizza, trying to find those nearby ingredients and build a menu around that kind of thing. And a whole lot of other stuff going on in downtown Tucson with the restaurant scene, partially driven, I think, by the arrival of the streetcar.
Indeed. U of A fires a researcher, a medical marijuana researcher. We've had Sue Sisley on the program numerous times. Who is Sue Sisley? Why does she no longer have a job?
Well, that's a very good question as far as why she doesn't have a job anymore. She's a researcher at the university, or she was a researcher at the university. She's been dismissed by the university, who was looking into whether or not medical marijuana could help veterans with post-traumatic stress syndrome. And the problem is they apparently decided that they didn't want her to continue with this project because the university dismissed her recently. The university is not commenting on why this happened. She's saying that there was political pressure put on the university by the legislature, by some Republican lawmakers who are unhappy with her advocacy on behalf of medical marijuana and her push to try to get state funding for this project. She's gotten some funding from a California nonprofit organization which has said that it's going to pull the funding away from the university if she's not the principal investigator on this project. And I believe that she has appealed to try to get her job back. I think she's planning on fighting this as much as possible, but the university does not seem to be reversing course.
And some critics are saying, I think even those who want to see research on medical marijuana, from what I've been hearing about this, is that she was such an advocate for this that there is concern that the research might suffer and that she was biased in some way. Does that make sense now? Is that what you're hearing?
Some people are certainly saying that that was part of what was going on here, and that's one of the reasons the university was concerned. And of course, she has her version of events as well. So I'm not sure we'll get to the bottom of it unless there's some sort of lawsuit that forces people to testify under oath.
And you mentioned that the legislature's Senate President, Andy Biggs, seemed like he was very much front and center as far as all this is concerned. And I think she is charging that he's the one who's threatening funding to the university if they don't get rid of her or something along that. Again, we hear so many stories about this.
Yeah, and there was a lot of legislation moving around in the legislature this year that would prevent funding from the medical marijuana funds from going to this research, and it certainly was very politically controversial. She was very critical of Kimberly Yee, a state senator who was sponsoring the legislation to block any kind of funding for this project. And of course, the veterans were upset with Senator Yee over this whole thing. So it's been a very messy fight.
And she is appealing.
She is appealing, and we'll see where that process goes. But the organization that is funding some of this research has already said they're going to pull the funds if she's not there.
And there's an irony in the sense that PTSD has now been okayed for medical marijuana as a condition by the state health director. So I mean, as all this is happening, that now becomes qualifying for medical marijuana here in Arizona.
It did, and that was after a lawsuit as well.
Yes.
Initially, the state said they would not allow that, and eventually it went before a judge, and the judge says, no, you have to. So they agreed to do it, but there's conditions.
All right, we've only got a couple of minutes left here. We've talked about this quite a bit, but I think you described this as a buscapade in Oracle with Sheriff Babu, with Adam Quasman running for Congressional District 1. What's been the fallout from all this idea of kids? They thought kids were being bussed up there, some unauthorized kids. They weren't, crowd gathers, all sorts of, what in the world's going on down there?
I think, normally we can count on folks in Phoenix to give the state the black eye nationally, and now finally Southern Arizona is playing its role in that part and helping get us onto Comedy Central. It seems as though Sheriff Babu down in Pinal County really raised a stink about the idea that some kids would be housed at basically a reform school down there in the Oracle area. Some of these kids who are the unaccompanied minors from Central America. He told some folks about it. Those folks showed up to do a big protest. Other folks showed up to counter-protest and welcome the kids. There was a mariachi band that showed up to play America the Beautiful. And Adam Quasman, as you mentioned, the congressional candidate, showed up, and then he raced up here to Phoenix and gave a television interview in which he talked about the fear on the children's faces as the bus went by, and it turns out it was actually a bus of YMCA campers rather than the migrant children. And Adam looked pretty foolish, I think, at that point, and ended up, in fact, on the Colbert Report by the time all was said and done.
We got about 30 seconds left. How are people taking this down in Tucson?
I think the majority of people are not very upset about it. I think you've got a shelter set up in central Tucson that people are not boycotting or protesting outside of, and I think there's a lot of compassion for these kids who have shown up here.
All right, Jim, good to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Music can move people in a variety of ways, including, it seems, the power to heal. Producer Christina Estes and photographer Juan Magana show us how the Harp Foundation is helping local hospital patients.
There's just something about harp music that's ethereal, and I think people instantly relate to it.
Even the tiny patients inside St. Joseph's Neonatal Intensive Care Unit.
The sound is air being pushed through her nose. It's just a reminder that she needs to breathe.
It may look like Jocelyn Obermeyer is just playing music for baby Mary,
She likes this one right here.
but she's also tuning in medically.
And I tailor the music to what I hear coming out of them. And the first thing I listen for is, can I hear their pitch? It's very subtle, and that's part of the training, is how to hear the sounds that are coming out of people.
Jocelyn first learned of the harp's power 6 years ago. That's when she was a school principal, faced with a parent volunteer who was losing her fight against cancer.
She just went on and on and on about how relaxing it was, how it calmed her down, how she was able to breathe better, and how it healed her inner soul, knowing she was going to pass. But hearing this beautiful music as she was on that transition, and it kept knocking at my heart to do. I'm a musician, so I play other instruments, but it just kept knocking, play the harp, play the harp. And so I would get harp music and listen to it and felt so called to that work that I learned to play the harp, stopped being a principal, and literally jumped right into it.
Today, Jocelyn is among 10 musicians with the Harp Foundation. They play in lobbies and rooms across 5 Valley hospitals.
What we found through evidence-based research is that if we bring therapeutic harp music into a situation where there's a lot of pain, it just immediately relaxes the situation, and patients can heal faster. Their medications work faster and better, and they're able to leave the hospital earlier.
Patients aren't the only ones touched by the strings.
The demands of watching patients, the demands of all the technology, you see alarms and beeps and everything going on. So what we found is using the harp music actually for just a few minutes to staff members actually calm them down and relax them as if they had taken a 30-minute break.
I've been a nurse here for 10 years.
Patty Peterson has witnessed the transformation on staff, patients, and her own family. As her daughter struggled during childbirth, something caught Patty's ear.
I go to the door, and right outside her room, there's a woman sitting there playing the harp. And I got very emotional because my mother played the harp. And so I thanked her and I said, I really appreciate this. It means a lot for us to do this. So I went back inside and I said to my daughter, Eden, Grandma's here and she can't stay very long. So I want you, I get emotional when I talk about it, I want you to get that baby out right now. So within a few minutes, she delivered a beautiful, healthy baby girl, my first grandchild.
The more that she rests and is comfortable, the more energy she'll store up. So it gives her that amount to be able to eat and to interact.
Julianne Kernigas knows the melodies help her newborn.
She had her eyes open and then closed, and then she was moving her mouth. So I can tell that she had heard her playing, and then when she stopped, she opened her eyes and noticed that she had stopped. So I think that she really enjoyed that.
So does Mom.
It helps calm you and to, put things into perspective and to realize that, this is what we're here for.
For more on the Harp Foundation, how you can get involved or learn where the harpists play, check out the website at harpfoundation.org. Thursday on Arizona Horizon, we'll look at how online privacy regulations by the European Union will impact Americans, and we'll talk about the possibility of regulations to prevent the misuse of drones. That's Thursday evening, 5:30 and 10, right here on Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.